I would like to also tackle, Mr. Chairman, is the question of water. Water is becoming a very scarce resource. I think there's a great imbalance right now. There may be an abundance of water in one area, but since water is a finite resource in this world, when there is plus in one area, there is minus in another area. In Mako, during the time of North Davao mining, there was this observation that that mining company, and I suppose all other mining companies, consumed a lot of water. First for mining, second for milling, and third for waste disposal. In other words, this is a water-intensive operation. Is that something that your bureau is also looking into? Because that's part of geoscience. Because the moment you consume a lot of water, you deprive the rest of the community of that scarce natural resource.
To a certain extent, Mr. Chairman, our office is involved particularly in some assessment of groundwater resources. But going back to the practices of the mining industry right now, just like any other industries or communities, as you mentioned earlier, there's instability right now in terms of water supply. Maybe today you have a lot of rainfall, you have enough of water, but in the next succeeding weeks or months, then you're going to have a lot of dry period. And so most companies right now are also very sensitive in recycling, in conserving and recycling their water. And the drivers are both environmental and commercial on their part, because they cannot afford to operate without water. So it is also economically driven on their part to do their own conservation within their mining operation.
Now, the next aspect that I would like to mention, Mr. Chairman, is the ability of the mining sector to generate employment. For example, in Itogon, in Benguet, before the entry of a large-scale mining entity there were about 24,000 small-scale miners, just like in Diwalwal. But when this big mining company came in, they displaced the 24,000 and ended up with only 500. So that's something that you also have to look into. The mining entity, which is a capital-intensive entity, may be making a lot of money, but the money doesn't filter down to the pockets of the workers. That means there were only 500 left. 23,500 were displaced. There is no good distribution of wealth extracted from the area.
Tama po yan, Mr. Congressman, at especially yung mga mining operations natin ng mga 60s and 70s, marami tayong karanasan yung sinasabi natin na ghost dams. Kaya nga po nung ginawa natin yung Mining Act of 1995, mayroon po tayong mandatory provision doon na yung tinatawag natin na Social Development and Management Program. Yun po, sinasaad po ng batas that the companies will have to allocate certain fixed amount every year for the development of livelihood and community development projects. Ang punto po natin dito, although in the past, marami rin tayong naging karanasan na, okay, nagbigay nga ng employment yung kumpanya, pero yung employment naman niya, for example, in Cebu, tagagawa ng bota na gagamitin ng mina, and dinunok sana yung mina, wala rin trabaho kasi nawala yung market niya. So what we are trying to do, and we're trying to get as much partners as we can, is to identify and develop, using the mining as a capital, to establish social infrastructures and livelihood projects para kahit na magsara yung mina 3 years, 5 years from now, meron pa rin tayong sustenance and continuity of the community.
Mr.
Isa
Chairman,
pa
it's good
provision-
that the director mentioned the possibility of mines being closed. Because I understand that there are several abandoned mines right now, abandoned, and the government may not have the resources to take care of them. The entrepreneurs, the businessmen are gone, but meantime they have left this, and these abandoned mines are generating a lot of acidic water that is destroying very gradually, systematically, the environment in the area. This is something that you have looked into. How are you addressing this now, Mr. Director?
Mr. Chairman, dalawa po yung punto natin dyan. Ano? Una, yung mga dating mga minahan, na tama po yung sinabi ninyo, wala na yung mga may-ari, hindi natin talaga ma-pinpoint pa yung responsibility. So since 2 years ago, we have requested the government and Congress has also helped us on this, and to some extent, some assistance from the World Bank. Meron po kaming project ngayon to rehabilitate some of these old abandoned mines. At ang first project po natin, yung umpisa ngayon, ay yung pong Bagakay Mine sa Samar. Yung binanggit po niya about acidities, etc. Kaya po prioritize namin yan. At ito po, pinagtutulong-tulungan namin not only with the Mines Bureau, pati na rin yung forestry sector natin, yung...
But today, what are we doing in order to avoid the reoccurrence of this? Because we don't want, after 10 years, we will be mobilizing funds again to take care of the waste of people who became dollar millionaires in the past.
Mr. Chairman, nabanggit ko po kanina yung Environmental Protection and Enhancement Program. That's one aspect that every year, no, dapat kasama sa plano niya. No, you work and rehabilitate as you move on. No. Meron na rin po tayong provision doon sa batas, yung tinatawag natin na Final Mine Rehabilitation and Decommissioning Fund. When you reach a particular period of your operation, meron po tayong computational table na yung kumpanya are slowly going to deposit already specific amounts.
So parang sinking fund.
Ito sinking fund, trust
Is this
fund.
automatically deducted from the revenue? Or?
No, direct pong payment ng kumpanya to the trust account.
Direct payment?
Yes, po.
And what is the basis for that?
Meron pong technical computation na dyan. May table po tayo, ano yung size ng operation, ano yung life
And who
niya.
takes care of the money? Where is that money?
It's a committee that is deposited in a government depository box. Maybe po lang ang